Hello and welcome to Blog Sprout. I'm LJ and today we're going to be talking about indexing and the 6 things that you have to do to get your site indexed by Google and get it done as fast as possible. I was able to get my site fully indexed in less than 4 weeks, less than a month, and then to this day I haven't had any other indexing issues. So this video is the second video in a series of videos on indexing, and you can check out the whole playlist here to get all the information that I can provide to you. So the first thing that you need to do to get indexed is create a robots.txt file. This can be done with most SEO plugins, and I'm going to have a video discussing how I created my robots.txt file, but the important thing is you need to be able to set the meta tag to index rather than no index. So robots.txt files allow the bots and bugs of the search engines to crawl your site, and setting it to index allows Bing and Google to know that your site is allowing these bots to crawl them. The next thing you have to do is create a sitemap. So a sitemap is where a interlinking structure of your entire website will live. It'll include all the URLs that are connected to the domain, and it can have like subsections. But what you can do with this sitemap is submit this sitemap to search engines, which will allow them to find the specific URLs of your website that should be crawled. So where do you have to submit the sitemap? The big two are to Google and Bing. So Google gets done through the Google Search Console, and Bing gets done through Bing Webmaster Tools. I'm going to have a video on how to submit your sitemap to both of these two platforms. So the important thing to notice about Bing as well is that once you submit your sitemap to Bing, you're also submitting your sitemap to Yahoo search results. And DuckDuckGo, which is an up-and-coming platform that, if you've seen my previous videos, is bringing in a decent amount of traffic. If they state that if you've submitted your sitemap to Bing and it's been indexed by Bing, that is the most that you can do to get indexed by DuckDuckGo. So Google is for all of Google traffic, but Bing allows you to get exposure to a couple different search engines. So the other thing that I did that seemed to accelerate the process for getting my site indexed was to create a backlink from a social media profile. Though for my blog, I don't really use social media right now. I went into Instagram, created a business or created an account, and simply just put my main domain in my Instagram bio. And within a few days, that seemed to get some of my pages indexed by Google. So I recommend it is something that is easy to do, and it's not going to hurt your site that you go and create a Facebook page, a Twitter account, Instagram account, and just put that backlink in there, because this also gives Google and other search engines an avenue to find your site. They're always looking at Facebook pages and Instagram pages and Twitter pages, so as they're exploring Instagram, for example, it finds your page, sees the backlink, and that's a way that it can also organically find your site. You can also manually request indexing for individual pages. So after you've done all those previous steps, this is a way to kind of give a little push to Google to request indexing. So what you can do is inspect individual URLs. And I'm going to have a video on how to inspect URL and request indexing on it. But when you first get started, you're going to inspect your URL, and rather than this saying URL is on Google, it's going to say URL is not in Google, or it's been discovered, or any of those different options. So what you can do is manually request indexing. And I did this a few times at the beginning for the really important pages, the ones that had a lot of content and the ones that had a lot of content directed towards other articles on my page. So what this did was kind of give a push to Google to let them know which pages I found were most important for them to put their resources towards. So if you have a hub page, if you have a category page, those are the ones I suggest manually requesting to be indexed, because once it trusts your site for a page or two, and then it has the ability to kind of explore the rest of your site this manual push can give it a bump. And then the last thing I did is use the Rank Math instant indexing tool. So what this does is use Google API to allow your site to get instantly indexed. I'm going to have a more in-depth video about instant indexing and how Google says it should be used and how Rank Math says it should be used. And I'm going to give you a little sneak peek here and say that instant indexing I do not believe should be used in the long term for the way that I had used it. It is designed for news articles and job posting and things like that. It's not meant to be used as a long-term tool. But at the beginning, it can boost your chances of getting indexed sooner. And I'll have a bigger video on that and what exactly I did and the strategy behind that to give you my experience and hopefully get your site indexed. So those are the 6 things that you need to do. The robots.txt, create a sitemap, submit a sitemap, create a social profile, individually request indexing, and then use the Rank Math indexing tool. Again, more in-depth videos on each of those steps will be in the playlist. So I really appreciate you checking in on the second video on indexing. There's still more information to come, but I hope you found this valuable in some way. Please leave a comment if you have any questions. I try to get to every comment that's put on all of my videos. Like and subscribe as always. It seems that people are enjoying this content, so I want to hear from you, and these metrics kind of keep me motivated to give you more of my experience and more help. So yeah, stay tuned for the rest of the indexing videos. Check out the playlist for the entire course, and I'll see you next time. I'm LJ from Blogsprout. Bye.